cause we can't stop. Hear the sound of my money machine. See my brand new Benz, watch the chrome rims gleam. The agent investors have found a home of your dreams. Investing in real estate will have you rolling in green. With the power and the knowledge at our fingertips, we are here to share and help get you rich. Eating fancy dinner, driving expensive whips, working out your brain like chest pressing dips. Stop leaning on the books and the courses you book. The conversations we have cannot be taught. Tune into the podcast with Lewis and Lamore. Our knowledge combined won't sell you short. And I'm out.
Welcome to another episode of The Agent Investor. I'm your host, Michael Lamore, alongside my podcast partner, Luis Fernandez. Luis, how are we doing today, man?
What's up, brother? How are you?
All good, all good. So today, I think we should get very real on the show, because part of the reason why we decided to do this show was really just to give value to people as well. Not only be entertaining and have a little fun, but also give value like we always do.
Right.
So, you know what? Why don't we pick me apart today? Because there are some things that are going on in business that we have to structure, right? Like I have to structure myself
right.
to do things a little bit better. And I feel like some of the challenges that I may be having, other people might be having.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So one of the biggest things we talk about in this business as far as trying to scale and trying to grow, because I would say almost every realtor, and try to take yourself back to when you were at a high level, 5-6 years ago, running a real estate retail team, not an investor team, when you just wanted that next deal. You wanted the next deal, right? I mean, it's kind of aggressive internally, right? But one of the things you have taught me, I would say, and have explained to me over the last 9 months is learning how to slow down and learning how to sit back and build.
Right.
Right? And I find it to be very challenging because, call it what it is, right? Like every realtor, including myself, we all have bills. We got mortgages, we got car payments, we got kids. So, what is the magic pill? And I know there is none, to say you got to slow down in order to scale. What exactly does that mean?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, you really got to understand that where you're really at, and then where you want to go, and then build models and systems around it, right? And, we all want to run 100 miles an hour, but we know that we'll run out of steam, right? So,
yeah.
Right? And
that's happened.
And that's what happens with us in the real estate world. But really understanding that what we need to build in order to, or who we need to get into our life or be in business with to, really explode, right? Like, you don't really need to do everything. We were just talking to a guest before, and he's doing buyers, he's doing listings, and all the people that I coach, I tell them, listen, if you really want to scale, these are people that pay me, right, to coach them. I was like, under me, and when actually you and I coached before, I was like, I would talk to you, and you're like, oh, I'm taking buyers. I was like, what? Remember those conversations? I was like, what? You're taking a buyer on the weekend? I was like, no, right? Like, you need to understand that, you could run 100 miles an hour, but you're not going to get anywhere. You might get somewhere financially because you might be doing deals, but we all know that listings are way
to the top.
Yeah, the gifts of the gods, right?
So what is it, in your opinion, through your vision, when you're explaining to a coaching client, or even myself, since we're going to be very real, as we always are, explain slowing down?
Well, I mean, slowing down is being able to look at every single variable in your business and analyzing it and taking action, right? So if you're taking buyers, you can't see the listing side.
So just for the people at home that may be watching us, so taking buyers means, I have a buyer client, they're looking to buy a home, could be an investor client looking to maybe flip a property or hold the property for long-term wealth building. So what Lewis is explaining is the time that it takes for me to get in my car, book appointments, get in my car, show 4, 5, 6 homes, put an offer together, go through the inspection process and all this stuff. Somebody at my level that I want to scale should be doing something else.
Absolutely. I always told my team, don't trade your time for less of what you should be making, right? So if your hourly rate is X and this is having clarity
Yeah.
and understanding where you're at is $200 an hour, $300, $500 an hour, why would you trade your time to do an $100 an hour activity?
So in other words, if you're somebody that's going to be due 25, 40 deals this year, and you're writing up your own memos of understandings, you're doing your own social media, things like that. At that point, if you want to scale and get yourself to 60 or 90 transactions, you need to sit back and start hiring somebody to do that kind of work. Yes?
Yes, 100%. Or just focus on what you're good at, right? So like, you and I had a conversation the other day.
We have a lot of conversations.
Yeah, a lot of the day, right? And I was like, dude, why are you spending $500 on pictures? And I'm like, it takes you 6 days to schedule a photo shoot. The house could be sold by then.
Yeah.
Right? And you're like, well, perception, my clients like this, whatever. But if you truly understand how long it takes you to sell a house in today's market, where you don't have to take 3D pictures, whatever.
I could say on this specific topic, I can both see it your way and see it my way. Financially, your way makes more sense. I get it. But the kind of effort I put into, I think it's also important to show my seller or any seller that I'm investing in you and I'm investing in your home. Some things have changed, over the last 5 or 6 years, but at the end of the day, you're right. I could just do photos, not do video, and possibly still get the same result. But I also have clients that see my videography and they're referring me to other people based on that as well as my overall talent.
Right, but you're focusing on future business, not what could really benefit them
At times.
immediately.
At times. I mean,
Right.
there's plenty of things that I know that they don't know,
Right.
right? But at the end of the day, my initial goal is to do whatever I can to get them as much as possible. Am I saying that is the video going to make that happen? If I can reach one more person that's with that video,
Well,
maybe
in today's market, if a house sells in 2 days,
it's probably not.
it's not the video,
No.
right?
No.
The video is for you to feel good and for you to show your clients that I'm doing something else.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, listen, I'm the best negotiator, trust me. When people come against me, I'm going to get you top dollar.
Yeah.
Right? So, but that's one of the things.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. 100%.
Going back to like scaling and doing all this stuff, it's all about like you understanding what your time is worth.
Yeah.
And really maximizing your time, right?
Yeah.
So
And we're
like,
not. And by the way, you're not saying every single agent. You're saying, look, because there are agents that like working with buyers. I mean, I happen to like working with buyers, but you knowing me and you knowing my business, me working and taking buyers out is not the best.
right. So I'll give an example, right? I always told people before, even I was in real estate, I was like, I love to give back to people, but I'm not the Red Cross, right? Right?
That's pretty good.
Right.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I'm not the Red Cross, right? So
Yeah.
like I want to do things for profit, and if
Yeah.
I'm going to do them for profit, I'm going to maximize my time with my return, right?
Yeah.
So there are people in every stage of the real estate world where you could bring buyer's agents that need that experience
Yeah.
while you are developing your business, and it's a win-win for everybody, right?
Sure.
Right?
Absolutely. It's
So
all
that's
about-
why teams are really appealing in the last 5 years, because everybody plays a role, and if they're good, you could graduate them to a bigger position,
Of course.
right? But everybody benefits in that process, right? What are you good at, Mike Lamort, if you're not growing a team for your team, right? If you're doing 20 million, you stick at 20 million for the rest of your life, your team is not growing,
Right.
right? So what you got to focus is on the people that you're helping build,
Yeah.
but you can't do 20 million anymore. You got to do 40 million for everybody
Right.
to grow
Right.
in
So
the
in
process.
other words, like I can't sit there and focus on taking out 3, 4, 5 buyers at a time because I have to get that kind of business to my buyers' agents so that they can then grow.
Absolutely. Right. So it's a shift in the mindset, right?
Yeah, I mean it's it's something I can definitely say I had a degree of difficulty with. It's challenging, but I think I was watching one of our podcasts this morning, believe it or not, because I checked them out after they come out to see if there's anything I could do better, like talk a little slower because I talk very fast and things like that, and I'm very conscious of that. And the beautiful thing about watching our podcast over again is that I always get a value out of it. And the one I watched this morning, basically, you reiterated how at certain points of your career and certain situations that you have to pivot.
Right.
And I'm in that situation right now.
Right,
Like
right.
I got to pivot more than one way right now to make a big difference, and it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah, listen, having those uncomfortable conversations or, what we talk about, the brutal facts in the books we read, right, is understanding what we're doing and what we should be doing and how we should be doing different things before everybody else is doing them, right?
Yeah.
We are looking at a market that eventually will fold, right?
100%.
I mean,
yeah.
we all know that, right?
what goes up must come down, right?
So who is preparing for the market, right?
Yeah.
When you and I first started, collaborating together, it was like 8, 9 months ago, and I was like, dude, we're going to prepare for that market,
Yeah.
right? Like, like people see us lead generating and doing all the stuff, and they're like, whatever, the numbers are not there.
Yeah.
But
Not right now.
but when it shifts,
Yeah.
the people that make it are the ones that pivoted before they needed to.
Yeah. Good
Right,
point.
so we're prepared. I mean,
Good point.
one of the guys that's calling with us has 616 listing potentials, right? 616, right?
Yeah.
Like, where I could tell you that most realtors don't even have that pipeline,
Not even close.
right? So we already started to really move in
we're
that
ready-
direction.
we're ready for the market,
We're,
sure,
we're,
yeah.
we're ready for that market, right?
Yeah.
And we're ready for that market that you will need pictures.
Yeah.
Because the market's going to take long,
Yeah,
right? Right? That you really need to impress people,
Just,
right?
just so people understand, the market is very hot right now. It's been hot for years now. I happen to think that, the whole COVID and coronavirus had actually, what it did, it actually paused the market and created a surge of the people coming out of the city and, this and that. But it's going to, it's going
Created
to fall.
speculation.
It's going to go down. There's no way to go down, right? I mean, real estate has a life cycle, does it not?
Absolutely.
Right? And the cycle is what, 10, 12 years at most?
Max.
Give or take?
We're 14 years in.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
really, it's 2008, right?
2007, whatever.
2007,
right?
2008.
I mean, we're due for
We're
market
due
correction.
for a market shift.
And when the market corrects itself, hopefully most people have
Prepare.
made changes
Yeah.
or pivoted or done the certain things that,
Yeah.
Because
Because nobody knows exactly when it's going to happen. It could happen.
tomorrow.
It could have started happening already.
Listen, in 2007, I remember it was October, and I think it was October 2007 and
I was
November.
I was a much younger man then.
November 2007.
Much younger
Everybody
man.
that was going to close had commitments to close, clears to close, and they couldn't close.
Oof.
You had 6 deals, that you were going to collect commissions, and they just disappeared
Oh.
because the market wasn't funding, right? It's funny because every 10 years, people forget what happened in the past.
Yeah.
But it will happen. Maybe not to that intensity, but it will happen, right?
Yeah. No, it's inevitable. And there are going to be, like I said, for the people that are not prepared, I'm happy to say that we are prepared as a group.
Absolutely, absolutely.
We're going to be just fine when the market just changes. But,
Listen,
people-
we're going to get market share.
Yeah,
And we're gonna take
gonna
market
happen,
share when it happens.
But for the sake of the educational part is if you're out there right now and you're just sitting there and deals are falling out of the sky. I mean they're not going to last. And somebody who cares. I mean I'm someone who cares about not only my income, I care about the industry because I'm a team player. And if you want to maintain yourself in this business, you better think ahead
Right.
because times are going to change.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, what would you say 1 or 2 things that people can start doing, start making changes?
We always talk about the basic stuff, right? Like discipline.
Basics work, though.
Yeah, discipline and being proactive, right? If you're not really lead generating,
Yeah. Break down lead generating. Please.
lead generating, reaching out to people that don't know you or that even know you,
Create
right?
new relationships.
Creating relationships.
Making contacts.
Yeah. Listen, if you're not lead generating at least an hour a day, you're going to be left behind, right? Because if you have a sphere of influence and somebody else is lead generating towards your sphere of influence, and somebody is really good,
I literally lost 3 listings in the last 3 months.
because
I know for a fact.
because
Because I wasn't in touch with certain people.
okay, all right,
Okay.
somebody else is going to come hungry and going to take those listings away from you, or those buy contracts or whatever it is.
What happens is we as humans we get very comfortable in our own skin. And you think just because you're emailing people over and over, or you're sending them, a postcard here and there, that they're just going to think
or
of
a
you.
cupcake or whatever.
Or a cupcake or whatever. But, it's important to make those calls as well. And I'm guilty. I don't make a lot of those calls. And you know what? I've suffered because of that. I learned the hard way.
Listen, the number one reason why people pick realtors, not because they're great.
A relationship.
It's because they're persistent.
Persistent.
That's all you need to hear. I teach the guys that, we call with. I was like, listen, the minute they know your name and they pick up the call after 6 or 7 calls and they're like, hey, Johnny, right? We don't have a Johnny, but hey, Johnny, you own that piece of business because now they know you.
Yeah.
Right? Like now you're competing against the guy that perhaps like you that, have, you're part of their sphere, but you're not that aggressive. And they're like, listen, in bad times, people want aggressive people.
Yeah.
In good times, they'll pick anybody, right?
Yeah.
So we're shifting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny that I see on social media all the time. It's like, I listed this house and within 2 hours it was sold. I was like, dude, it wasn't you. It was the market.
Yeah, I mean, there are some things that you can do to make a difference in that deal.
Yeah, but
there is.
But if you price it right,
the house is going to sell.
Yeah, if you price it right.
Yeah, the house.
And all of a sudden you see the same message from 100 people, 100 brokers. You're like, dude, really? Come on, man.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. In a market like this, basically, call it what it is. I mean, a monkey can sell a house right now, but education, and if you're really experienced and you really know how to talk and how to script, you can make a major difference in that transaction. It's going to sell, but how much is going to determine on who you hire.
Yeah, of course.
100%.
Yeah.
So there's no way.
But who's going to get the transaction?
Oh,
the monkey or?
Well, if the monkey's talking to the person more,
right?
Yeah, then the monkey's going to get the deal.
Yeah, we just got to be proactive for the next market to happen, right?
Yeah. So with that being said, I think that was a good piece of good segment to kind of share with people. Market shift is coming, so start preparing yourself so that you're not left in the dark and you have a pipeline left over. So another episode of the Agent Investor, Michael Lamort, Luis Fernandez. Great show as always. See you next time.
Yeah, we won't stop, cause we can't stop. Hear the sound of my money machine. See my brand new Benz, watch the chrome rims gleam. The agent investors have found a home of your dreams. Investing in real estate will have you rolling in green. With the power and the knowledge at our fingertips, we are here to share and help get you rich. Eating fancy dinner, driving expensive whips, working out your brain like chest pressing dips. Stop leaning on the books and the courses you bought. The conversations we have cannot be taught. Tune into the podcast with Luis and Lamort. Our knowledge combined won't sell you short. And I'm out.